It's now become even tougher for motorists and travellers to enter the nation's capital, with the ACT police now establishing a new checkpoint. Let's head there, live to political reporter Jonathan Lee. Good afternoon to you, Jono. What is all this about? What's this in response to?
Julie, good afternoon to you. This is in response to the restrictions which have been put in place, preventing those from Greater Sydney and also the COVID-related areas from entering the nation's capital unless they've got the proper permit system. Now, a checkpoint was put in place on the Federal Highway over the weekend. There were reports that actually saw delays of 4 or 5 hours. Police told us today they actually can see there were delays of around 2 hours as many people tried to get into the nation's capital and get back to the nation's capital. In fact, the numbers they gave us, they say some 4,483 vehicles were checked, 147 vehicles were actually turned back and turned away, 217 people, ACT residents returning, were pushed into the hotel or the home quarantine method at the moment. They can see one of the large problems they have is that there's 60 or 70 ways to get into the nation's capital. Obviously, they don't have the resources to deal with all of those roads, so they're treating this much like you would a sort of random breath testing session. Let's have a listen.
Every strategy is scalable, and certainly the 4,500 vehicles that we have checked on the Federal Highway in the last few days indicates that we are providing a level of risk mitigation in terms of COVID compliance.
Now, Julie, this is actually Sutton Road, one of the main roads out of the local region, up to the main highway. It isn't the main checkpoint behind us. They're slowing traffic or motorists down at this point before they get to the main one, where returning travellers are being stopped on the way back in. Because of the shortage they have with police at the moment, I actually asked whether they're approaching the ADF for assistance.
We do have a number of personnel from the national arm of the AFP assisting us with compliance duties across the range of activities that ACT policing is conducting, whether it's border control or home compliance checks. They are assisting us in a range of those strategies.
Yeah, so police here hoping they get a bit of support from the ADF or even the SES in terms of assistance. John Barilaro, the acting New South Wales Premier, actually made the point today that this goes both ways. It's not just about stopping those from Greater Sydney entering the nation's capital. There also needs to be an element of common sense from those in regional areas like Canberra from returning to Sydney at the moment. His point was, don't even think about coming to the second, rather, don't even think about coming to the third test.
So the risk would be that if someone from the regions comes to Sydney, that they could take it back to a regional area. So my advice to people would be, think about it, reconsider. Maybe this year isn't a year to come to Sydney.
So obviously ACT can't stop everyone from getting into the nation's capital, but they say residents here can have an element of confidence that they're actually stopping those who've come from the hotspots. And of course, it's about people simply doing the right thing. Julie.
Jonathan Lee in a very dreary looking nation's capital this afternoon. Thank you very much.